Dear students, in this video let us discuss about the economies of scale or large scale economies of large scale production. Here generally when we talk about economies when we talk about economies we mean when we talk about economies we mean benefits or losses, either benefits or losses in either cases. So when we talk about the scale of production of a firm, we often hear about the fact that large scale production usually helps in reducing the cost of production. So when we heard about the scale of production, we often hear about large scale. So this large scale production in turn tries to reduce cost of production. Economies of scale refers to these reduced costs per unit arising due to an increase in total output. So the benefits or losses, if it is benefits, we may call it as economies of scale. When it is losses, we call it as diseconomies. Now, economies of scale refers to reduced economies of scale refers to reduced costs per unit arising due to increase in reduced cost per unit arising due to increase in output. Diseconomies of scale, on the other hand, occurs when the output increases to such great extent that the cost per unit starts increasing. Here, when the economies of scale, we say reduced costs. So, when we say diseconomies of scale, both costs will be increased as well as output will also be increased. This is diseconomies of scale. When a firm opts for large scale production, The economies arising out of it are grouped into two categories. Economies. Economies of scale. There are, when a firm opts for large scale production, there are two types of economies. First one is internal economies, and the second one is external economies. Here, the internal economies, let us say, i.e., the internal economies of production, that such economies that firm occurs when it increases output, leading to a drop in cost of production. And these arise due to endogenous factors like entrepreneurial efficiency. Internal economies also conveys that the cost of production must be decreased and the output must be increased. So the reasons for this reduction in cost and increased output are entrepreneurial efficiency, talents of the management team, management talent, and machinery. These economies arise within the firm. These economies arise within the firm. That is, and with the help of the firm. The name itself says it is internal. That means all, say, entrepreneurial efficiency, let it be the talent of the management, let it be the type of machinery installed in the company, everything will be internal to the everything will be internal to the company. That is, everything is within the company. These benefits or these economies are achieved with the help of internal staff like management, entrepreneurs, and the capacities. Now, coming to the other thing, you have external economies. Let us say it as EE, external economies. What are these external economies? These are the benefits that each member of the firm or industry accrues due to expansion of entire industry. Here, these are the benefits. External economies are these are the benefits that each member of the firm that each member of the firm of entire industry. Here, each member of the firm and the entire industry accrues due to the expansion. Due to expansion. Say, for example, the present company is enjoying a massive production capacity of 10 lakh units 10 lakh units, and due to the industry expansion, say for example, every company has been granted to produce nearly 50 lakh, say for example, nearly 50 lakh outputs. So here the industry has been expanded. Therefore, the capacity of each firm has been increased, and thus such kind of economies are known as external economies. Now, let us see the internal diseconomies and economies of scale. The internal diseconomies and internal economies and diseconomies of scale. While studying returns to scale, if you observe that they increase during the initial stages and remain constant for a while and then starts decreasing. If you observe, it increases and remains constant and it starts decreases. The reason is simple. Initially firm enjoys internal economies. After certain limit it suffers internal economies. After certain limits it suffers internal diseconomies. So let's look at the types of economies and diseconomies. The first one could be technical. Large scale production is linked to technical economies. When a firm increases its scale of operations, it needs to use more specialized and efficient form of capital equipment and machinery. Such machinery helps to produce large outputs of a lower unit cost. So when the technology wise the industry or the firm is upgraded, so it enjoys the technical economies. Further, as the scale of production increases, the amount of labor and other factors become larger. The firm manages to reduce costs by introducing the degree of division of labor and specializations. However, beyond certain point, the firm experiences diseconomies. So, technical economies and technical diseconomies. Technical economies occur when firm increases efficient when it introduces technological advances, but at the same time it stands as diseconomies. This happens because after reaching large enough output, after reaching the standard output, the firm utilizes almost all possibilities of the division of labor. So post this increase, so that could stand as diseconomies. And the next one is managerial. As the output increases, the firm can apply the division of labor to the management as well. For example, the production manager can look after production, sales manager can look after sales. When the scale of production increases further, the firm divides each department into sub-departments, like for example sales can be divided into advertising, exports and services, like that. Thus helps in increasing efficiency and productivity. However, here the diseconomies are economies are beyond a certain limit. The management finds it difficult to control and coordinate between departments if there are large number of sub departments. And the next one is commercial. As a firm increases its volume of production, it requires large amounts of material and components. Hence, it places a bulk order for such material components and enjoys discount during pricing. Say, for example, if a large company is tendering or bidding for the raw materials, it may get such raw materials at a lower cost. But this could stand diseconomy when the advertising cost per unit falls. Hence, the firm benefits advertising too. And then the next one is financial. When a firm wants to raise finance, a large scale firm has many benefits like better security to bankers, well known depositors, and then can raise finance at lower cost. However, the optimum scale of production, the financial costs rise after due to increased dependence on external finances. Though finance gives the economies, too much dependence on the external finance could stand as a diseconomy. And the next one is risk bearing. Risk. Another internal factor is risk bearing. A firm enjoys the economies of risk bearing if it has large scale operation with diverse and multi production capabilities. However, if the diversification increases the economic disturbances rather than covering them, this is the point where the risk the risk in managing diversification increases. Now, let us know the external diseconomies and economies of scale. The external diseconomies of scale. Here, the external diseconomies and economies of scale are very important to a firm. These are the result of expansion of output of the entire industry. We already said in the above point that uh, the external economies occur as a result of the expansion of the industry. Therefore, it is very important to understand the external economies and diseconomies. These are the result of our expansion of output of entire industry and not limited to an individual firm. Therefore, they are available to one or more firms in the following forms: cheaper raw materials and capital equipment. The first one could be cheaper raw materials and capital equipment. At times, the expansion of industry results in new and cheaper sources of raw material, machinery, and other capital equipments. It also results in an increased demand for various materials. Hence, such materials or equipment can be purchased from other industries on a large scale. This eventually leads to lower cost of production. And the next economies is technological external economies. Technological external economies. Usually, when an entire industry expands, the new technical knowledge is discovered, leading to new and improved machinery for the said industry. And this changes the technological coefficient of production and enhances the productivity of the firms. Development of skilled labor. As the industry expands, the labor gets accustomed to managing various production processes and learns from the experience. The increases in the number of skilled workers, which in turn has a favorable effect on the levels of productivity. The growth of ancillary industries. When a certain industry expands, many ancillary industries start specializing in the production of raw materials, tools, and machinery. Therefore, another economy is growth of ancillary industries. Better transportation and marketing facilities. Another important external economy is better better transportation and marketing facilities. An expanding industry usually results in the better transportation and marketing networks. These aspects helps to reduce the cost of production in the firms from the industry. It is important to note that certain disadvantages can neutralize the advantages of the expansion of industry and seize the external economies. These are the external diseconomies. When an industry expands the demand for certain materials, skilled labor, etc. If these factors are in short supply, their prices can increase. Further, the geographical concentration of the firms from the industry can lead to higher transportation costs. So so these are the economies of scale. In this video, by now you might have understood the economies of scale. That means reduced costs. These economies of scales means both cost and output are increasing. So these are of two kinds: internal and external. Internals Internal economies are the reasons, the internals to the company, where external economies are the reason of expansion of the industry and expansion of output capacity. So, by now, this is the video for economies of scale, or in turn, economies of large scale. Thank you.